everyone, and welcome to the show. I am stoked today. We have Michele Blood, a successful, multi-talented lady, a successful songwriter, and this is I'm so excited because a rock singer in Australia. Oh my gosh, like you are someone, you are somebody. Uh, Unfortunately, had I guess a life-changing event, a near fatal car accident, and that while you're in the hospital became a huge advocate for aspirations or affirmations, I should say. So, Michelle, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. And maybe you can share a little bit about Michele Blood.
Well, I'll say aloha and get
Good day, good day. That's right. A little bit
oh,
about Michele Blood.
oh,
Yeah.
right. My turn. Still blood. Who is she? This little tiny blonde female Anthony Robbins type, over the top energy. I've been my rock singing days was for years and years in Australia, had ended up putting together the most amazing band. We had all these beautiful original songs and we toured at one stage 7 years nonstop. We had thousands of people coming to the gigs. We loved doing the videos, everything, but it's tough. You have to be so strong to be a female lead singer, manager of the band, main songwriter, and tour in Australia because you're basically singing to a bunch thousands of drunk blokes each night mainly. And so I've experienced everything from throwing beer cans at us when I was early on, when I was younger, horrifically terrible audiences until we got really, really big. And then we started really getting great respect. And I ended up touring with a lot of big, huge American bands as well. And so my life was on track and I was loving it. We were getting interest we had Time Warner in Australia, our record label, but we were getting interest in Europe and the UK from some of the bigger, extended labels. And so it was fantastic, and you would think, oh, having a near fatal car accident or truck accident actually, uh, how could that when I was in the hospital for months, how could something so horrific start my life to be really on track in a different way than I could ever have imagined. So it's really quite a unique story, and I love the fact that people can wherever they are, whatever they're going through, I can tell them for a fact your life can change 360 degrees to the positive. And there's not that much different thinking that you have to do for that to happen because that's what happened to me. So that was the beginning of my new life.
Yeah, we hear a lot of stories. I've interviewed a ton of people over my life, and there are a lot of positivity coaches, performance coaches, and but not many have experienced this uh, near death experiences, and that they were able to turn it around into something very positive. You did that, and I'm so happy that you survived. And just
Me
on a
too.
side note, because Australia, growing up, my favorite singer was Olivia Newton-John. I believe she was British Australian. I'm not sure, but for some
Well,
reason she was, in my mind, she was Australian. What?
oh yeah, she was born in England, but she came to Australia when she was only 3.
Got it.
So yeah, she was just adorable, most
Yeah,
amazing
it
lady.
was. So, so you're hung up in a hospital for months, as you say, and what triggered the change? What? Because you have two choices really. You can uh, become a victim of the circumstance, or you can choose a different path. You chose the different path. How did that come about?
By accident, but there's no accidents, right? Except
Right.
for the car. Yeah, the truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel and I was a passenger, and we'd just come from a gig in Brisbane. So it was a 12 to 13-hour drive to get to Sydney, and he fell asleep at the wheel, and, uh, he went into a telephone pole, and as the passenger, the musical equipment went into me. So the injuries were intense. I mean, I was in that hospital for months and months and months. And I'll just tell you straight away, we had our accident across the road from one of the best orthopedic doctors and specialists in the world, this most amazing hospital in Australia. And the one of the surgeons, one of the bones specialists was on duty that night. So I was everything was put together perfectly because I could have died on the way to the hospital if it had been too far away, you know, with all the internal bleeding and all the bones that were shattered inside and splitting into my organs. So I won't say too much more about that because I don't want anyone to lose their breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But what happened was people putting on were sending me stuff to listen to and positive books and stuff. I'd never got into that because I was always positive, Mel. I was always right on schedule, making sure the guys never drank too much, that we're on rehearsal on time. I mean, I was like, I mean, if I was a guy, they would have said, "Wow, he's really cool." But the guys in the band called me the Till of the Hunt because I had to, make sure, if anyone was out of tune or just turned up, they would never get a second chance. They were fired from the band because if you've got one person who shows up late or they're out of tune, the whole band is effed up. It's like you just, it's a really beautiful analogy for how to run a successful business is run it like a successful rock band. Everyone has to be in tune for it to be skyrocketed into success, which we were. But anyway, getting back to what happened to me, there's a have you heard of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, Mel?
Absolutely. I think many of us entrepreneurs have probably that was probably my first book uh, that I read when I started my entrepreneurial journey many, many, many years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody put on a cassette. I always had a little cassette player with me wherever I went because if I got a songwriting idea, I'd have to sing it down so it wouldn't escape into the ether, the songwriting idea. Anyway, and so uh, they started putting on these positive motivational tapes, which I hated. I thought, because when you're in that sort of oscillation, that vibration of extreme physical pain and mentally, how am I going to live if I can't dance on stage and do all my crazy antics? Because I was like a full on entertainer as far as how I danced and jumped up on speakers and all that sort of stuff. So this was Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, on audio tape. Earl Nightingale. I didn't mind listening to this one really because I liked the timbre of Earl Nightingale's beautiful baritone speaking voice. Anyway, so I didn't really enjoy the book because what was a female young rock singer interested in male entrepreneurs, millionaires in the 20s in America? Couldn't care less. Just one chapter changed my life where Napoleon Hill's little boy was born, his little infant son was born completely deaf. And he would go into the little boy's room every night, every single night, and say, "You hear perfectly," because he was born 100% deaf. "You hear perfectly. You grow up to be this amazing man. You're strong. You're resilient." Just all these affirmations, auto suggestion. And the little boy, after just a few years, got 30% of his hearing. And the doctor said that was literally impossible. But Napoleon Hill knew better. And this is a long time before neuroscience has proven that affirmations and positive thinking do change your life. It can bring you into great success and great healing and great happiness. And so, when you just feel something in the marrow of your bones, I knew it was like just a light came on. I knew that that would work for me. I just knew it. So I said, okay, I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. That's it. You had to say an affirmation has to be positive. It has to be about what you do want, but you don't have yet, as if you've already got it. So I am healed. I wasn't. I know I am. I didn't. I love myself. I didn't. I am my friend. I wasn't. So that was the perfect affirmation. All lies, but things that I wanted. So I kept saying it over and over again for a couple of weeks. But then, Mel, I quit. I gave up. You know why?
I don't know why. I don't.
You don't know why. Was because the doubting mind didn't believe it. The doctors are telling you, if you do survive the next operation, which was 17 and a half hour operation, if you do survive that, Well, you're never going to walk again properly if you do. And so when you're being told by experts, you know, you're going to believe them. So the doubting mind just said, look, this is BS. I have to be honest. I have to be down to earth and just face the facts, face the facts, which I never ever did before in my life. But then, so I stopped doing it. And then one night I was like, I had a full on spiritual epiphany, a satori. You are a singer songwriter, girlfriend. You cannot get a jingle or a song out of your head. That's why advertising agencies spend billions of dollars. And I had been hired as a singer on some jingles, which I never used to tell my band about because that was very uncool to be singing jingles. But I made enough money to buy more musical equipment and everything with it, so I did it as often as I could, incognito, so to speak. Anyway, so I sang. I put the cassette player on. I got someone to put it on because I still couldn't move. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. And I sang it over and over and over again. So that's how the affirmations with the pop music began. And I would listen to that over and over again. I sang it for 60 minutes straight so that I could listen back to it over and over again. And I had miraculous healing and immediately had a change in my attitude, everything. And I knew that everything was possible. I just knew it. And because the lyrics, the affirmations go into the left side of the brain, the melody goes into the right side of the brain. You have a whole brain experience. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to emotionalize it. You just have to listen. And it goes straight into your subconscious mind. And then your higher self can start working on the healing and working whatever it is that you can attract into your life. So I went after the hospital, I went to a studio and started writing and recording all these different topics for me and my band just for our success, for anyone else to listen to, because I didn't think they were really cool. They're not like proper rock songs, you know? So I had no idea that they would end up being played in all these different languages to millions upon millions of people globally over the years, which they have. Um, just a phenomenal thing because no one had ever done it before. That's when everything really started taking off from that moment of, that not just the healing, but of writing all these new affirmation songs and recording them.
First of all, you got an amazing voice.
Thank you.
I mean, I got like, I don't know what they call it in Australia, but in America we call it chicken skin, and you got an amazing voice.
Oh, I call
Now,
it God bumps.
what do you call it? God bumps?
God bumps.
Yeah, yeah, okay. At our church they call it Jesus bumps. But
Right. There you go.
yeah, I read Napoleon Hill's book, and I had kind of the same reaction initially. No, come on, man. Speak it into reality or whatever. It was doubtful. But as I started on this entrepreneurial journey, I listening to so many successful entrepreneurs. That is, affirmations are have become a way of life for those people. And as you were speaking, I'm thinking, golly, if you had not gotten into that accident, that horrific accident, and someone handed you that same book at the same time, but you were on tour, and I'm assuming you were with all male musicians and your band, you were probably the only female. You think that book would have had any impact in your life if not for the accident?
I don't think so. I don't think I would have even opened it. If it had, if it was written by a rock star or something, I probably would have read it
Yeah,
because
because
I love to read bios from, entertainment and celebrities and rock stars when I was on the road. But no, I don't think so.
the life of a rock star, the life of an entertainer in general, many, many, many distractions along the way. You guys are traveling across the country, possibly across the world. All of the distractions, and I know you mentioned you were, the boss, but how how did you keep all these guys in line? How do you
Well,
keep them?
it
I
took
mean, I
me
heard you say you fire them if they you just fire them, but I mean that's a good motivator. But how did you become that leader? How did you become that person?
well, to start with, I was in other people's bands as the lead singer, but other people's bands. and I didn't like the way I was treated, and I didn't like different management and agents and different people, I had one guitarist who used to lock me after a gig. He'd lock my hotel room, which we used to call them cockroach palaces. They were horrible, and he wouldn't let me go out, so I could look after my voice, and I was already disciplined, so it was weird. Anyway, so I made a decision that I was going to start my own rock band and choose the best musicians. Everything I wanted them to look great, sound great, be really good at what they did, and for them to really want success, really want it. And so to start with, I found an incredible keyboard player who could sing because I wanted them to be able to all do. I wanted 4-part, 3-part harmonies because I love harmonies in music. And so then he had a friend of his who was a great bass player. He was only, gosh, 19, that kid, but he was an amazing bass player. Like, wow, I love it when they can really slap that bass. And and then we went through about 3 different drummers to get the right drummer. So then we found this amazing drummer who didn't drink or anything, and he was just incredible. And he had all the latest. I always wanted to make sure they had the latest gear. You know, he had the best drum kit in the world, this guy. And then we found a guitarist who just had the most magical voice. And I liked him. He was a born again Christian, and he was like, so he didn't drink either. And I loved that because I wanted them to be like really straight.
Yes. Yeah,
But they
sober.
were all gorgeous looking, beautiful long hair, and, they were all over 6 foot tall, and I'm 5 foot. So then I had the dream band. So then to start with, I just had us all doing a cover gig, all around Queensland in Australia used to be like cover city. Could get thousands of fans from being a really good cover band. So we got really popular as a cover band, and then I said, "Okay, now we're gonna start putting in some originals." More and more originals, more and more originals, and then I found an agent, uh, I found Time Warner, I got them to come to our gig, and that's how, we did demos, and that's how we started, and I was with those guys for years and years and years and up until my car accident, and they were great to work with, they were fantastic. There was only, occasional, trouble with the road crew more than the band, 'cause those road crew were such sluts. So
God.
but they were really good. I got the best road crew. I mean, they all made much more money than the band because you have to have great sound guy. You gotta go to have a great lighting guy. But they were just, oh my God, they would just pick up so many girls. And I just said, "You guys are disgusting." But my guys went, I didn't care about that sort of thing really, but I just didn't, I didn't like that sort of thing sorted.
Are you still writing music, and are you
Oh
still
yeah.
performing?
Yeah, I just put out an album last year. Uh, Create miracles to harmonize your life, songs to harmonize your life. Yeah, I don't think I could ever stop. It's just within me.
I need to get I need to get I gotta go do my research now and find some of your old music.
I don't
It
think you will find any of my old music because that's long before the internet.
oh,
And my name was different because the record label got me to change my name because they thought Blood sounded too punk. And I had a first cousin called Michael Blood, who was in a really famous Lime Spiders punk band in Australia. So So they
yeah,
let him keep his name. But, yeah, and a lot of the songs were, "Mere Dust Without Your Baby," and some of the hits that we had were sort of negative, and I don't want people to listen to negative music because I had a fan once who nearly committed suicide because
oh,
one of my songs made her feel so depressed after her boyfriend left her, and I was like, "I'm never gonna write another negative song as long as I live," because I would write about songs. I'd had a boyfriend and then he broke up with me or something, which was hard to believe, I know, but and then I'd write about it.
some of the songs, especially country songs, the stories that they tell, these breakups, and do you believe most of them are based off of personal circumstances or experiences from
Oh,
these
I
writers?
did have to tell you, uh, Trevor and Johnny, who work with me, they decided some of the songs and the videos were so cool, they did actually put some of them up recently on my YouTube station, some of my old videos, so you can watch some of them at youtube.com/Michele Blood. But, yeah, you know what you get when you play country music backwards, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I
Yeah,
I I love that song. I
you
love
get
that
the
song.
dog back, you get your house back, you get your boyfriend back. No, I don't know about other people and but I don't know because I'm not a country and western fan,
Yeah.
so I don't know about those songwriters, and I do like Blake Shelton stuff. I think he's really cool dude, especially since he married Gwyneth Paltrow didn't marry her. Since he married, what's her name, the blonde
Uh,
lady?
yeah,
I
now why
Gwen Stefani from No
Stefani,
Doubt.
Stefani,
'Cause
yeah,
I love
yeah.
No Doubt, they're just an awesome band. Anyway, yeah, but that was a good question about the guys.
Yeah, because they're so realistic, and I think all of us, if you're old enough anyway, you've been through those experiences that are talked about in these songs, and it's like, wow. Some are very depressing, like you said, and some give us hope. Now you focused, basically dedicated your life now to being positive. You said you were always a positive person, but you went through something very negative and you turned it around. I know that, and you're very generous to allow our or provide our listeners free copies of your ebook and your video, and you can get that at micheleblood.com/feed your mind. Make sure you go there and get your ebook, The Magic of Affirmation Power, completely free. And we appreciate that, Michelle. And the video, Power of Meditation.
And
That can be, that you can get both of those products for free at
and
micheleblood.com.
Magnetic Creative Visualization Program, Goal Setting Turbocharged that I did with Bob Proctor, some of my best-selling songs, the 6-week Mystical Change Your Life course by video. You get all of that, tons of it, but you have to find all the links. So you only got a couple of links. I'm not sure why you only got a couple, but there's over $300 worth of product.
Oh, well, you're too kind. And that's for all of you listeners. Again, micheleblood.com/feed your mind. Of course, at micheleblood.com, you can get all of the information on Michelle and what she's doing. Share with us a little bit about the book. And so you're in a hospital. When did you decide, I need to write a book? I need to provide these resources for people that are struggling and could benefit. When did that all happen?
Well, I didn't decide on anything. Everything just everything
You know,
just
I
kept happening.
Michelle,
I was
I believe nothing happens by accident. I have
no
come to
well,
believe that nothing in our lives happened by accident.
yeah, I didn't have any strategy to do anything like that. I was just gonna get back on with my band. But journalists were coming to see me and heard about my miraculous healing. And so I was on television, I was in magazines talking about my story because it was very inspiring, I guess. And because I was, a singer in Australia and I guess it was an interesting story. And so then from that, promoters in Australia who promote motivational best-selling authors wanted to hire me to sing in between these people. So I said, "Why would you want me to do that? Not with my band, just with backing music?" "Yeah, your affirmation songs. We want you to play them in between." And this first tour we got around Australia is with Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Stuart Wilde, and I was like, "I don't know who any of these people are. I'm a singer." And so they offered me 5 grand per gig. And that I could sell my CDs with the affirmation music. They're the ones who said, "We want you to sell them. We'll take a percentage of the sales, but we'll also give you this money." And I'm like, "That's crazy." I mean, I was lucky to make that in a year as a singer. Yeah. So I said, "Of course." I told my band, "Hiatus, guys, go and do a cover band or something without me." Anyway, so I met these guys and I found them listening to them speak at every gig, and there were thousands of people coming to these gigs, paying $350 or more for a ticket to hear these people speak, these guys. And I just loved their stories. And these were like best-selling authors. And then they wanted me to come and do it with the great Bob Proctor, who I ended up working with for years and years and years. And I ended up running his business for him. And we did seminars all over the world. And Bob got it so incredibly. He said, "I want you to work with me all over the world. I want to start writing lyrics with you. This is what we all teach: affirmations, visualize that, all the things that you're doing." And he said to me, because I recorded like what I called like a 6 cassette album called Affirmation Power. And by then I was living in Kuala Lumpur. And he said to me, "You got to write a book to go with this." And I said, "I can't even type. I'm not from that era." And he said, "No, we'll write a book." And he went back to Canada for a month, came back to Kuala Lumpur. I'd written the book. I had it all transcribed, cartoon characters in it, the whole bit, and it was already printed. And he said, "How did you do that?" And I said, "I just spoke as if I was being interviewed. I just spoke onto a cassette player and had someone transcribe it." And he was like, "Oh my gosh." And then he said, and I do this visualization when we were doing these seminars. And he said, "Make that a program." So then he said, "I want to do another program." So then we did a program together. It took 3 years to do it, called New Paradigms. And we covered every different topic there was on that. And more and more songs were written. So that's how that came about. So then after that, my consciousness had gone into a different dimension. And I was having very deep spiritual experiences and had this love rise out of me for the divine. And I wanted to find someone who knew God and enlightened. I read Yogananda's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and it just, oh my gosh, Mel, I was just in love with this enlightened person. And I'd only known Jesus. When I was a little girl, I actually was very in love with Jesus. I went to mass every day with the nuns. I would sit with them in their convent because I was so in love. But then I guess puberty started and rock and roll. I've sort of forgot about that. But I'd always had an inclination towards spirituality. And so uh, I searched for 14 years to find an enlightened teacher and eventually found one. Went off the grid for 10 years of my life, took Facebook off, everything off, and just studied with this enlightened teacher. And I eventually became awakened too, which I never expected. How could a rock and roll singer from Australia, a girl, because I was looking for an old Asian guy with bald head or with long white beard. I'd never thought of a young, beautiful American woman being enlightened, and she was. It blew me away. So I'm not any particular religion, but I am in love with God. I'm in love with the divine, and I want everyone to find their higher self, their what I call their diamond. Now, could I share something else with you, Mel?
Absolutely.
I am so thrilled to announce that we have created this beautiful team of young people with me, an app, an experience. It's a true experience. It's called the Magnet to Money app. But what it has is tons of positive affirmations with that beautiful music. So you get a whole brain experience. It has every day a different 8-minute meditation for you to focus on joy or success or whatever it is you're going to focus on. It has a beautiful sleep program. So you have this beautiful, this angel, which is me with this different type of voice, getting you to go to sleep into deep planes of sleep and to become healed and giving you beautiful positive talks that I'm saying straight to your consciousness that goes deeply in. And it also has the Magnet to Money song with notification, but it is a very high experience. It's only been out there for 2 months. And already we've got doctors and dentists and all these different people and rock people that are just saying how it's changed their life because all they have to do is listen to get this light transmitted to them. And it only costs the price of a cup of coffee to get this app, Magnet to Money app. So I'm thrilled for that because people who want their life to change, but they can't seem to get beyond the doubting mind, all you have to do is listen. And the notifications come in for you to listen, whether you feel like it or not that day. So I'm really just thrilled that people can have this. It is an experience. It's a true experience with this app. So I thank all the developers and all the people we worked with for the last 2 years, Holly Fowler and Trevor Rogers and Johnny and Dara, because they're just amazing. So I just wanted to share that with you, but it's only for iPhones at the moment. But if you've got an iPod, you can actually upload it to your iPod. But I just wanted to share that because it's really extraordinary. And we put huge amount of money into it and a huge amount of time and love.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you about it, because there are a lot of people raving about the Magnet to Money app, and it's kind of deceiving, the title, because It's a magnet to money. It's almost like one of those emails you get every day from people trying to teach you how to make money, but it's a lot more than that. It is actually a roadmap or the resource you need to becoming a better person, a more successful person. In today's world, I try not to watch the news in the morning, but this morning
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. I
Mhm.
did, and it's like the most depressing show you can watch on television right now. And it's unfortunate because you watch movies, they make you cry, they make you angry, but it's fiction. And then you watch the news, and it's what's going on in our world today, and here in America, it is upside down, and that's a horrific way to start your day, by being just depressed because of what is going on in politics and everything else. How would you suggest? And I'm glad you brought that up. And again, thank you for the free gifts for our listeners. Again, micheleblood.com/feed your mind. But on her website, you can also get information on her new app. How someone like me, who know a lot of people, maybe going through some rough times, what's the best way to approach them and share your tools with them, and give them permission to learn how to improve themselves?
Well, if someone really, really, really is sick of tired of their life and they want to make a drastic change and they're just like, no, I've tried it before, it's not working. I suggest you go to themysticalexperience.com. It's like a spiritual membership. And I have members from over 32 countries, and they're from all walks of life and all ages, and some of them don't even speak English. But and we do these huge Zoom events, and we get to discuss everything that's going on without going into the news in that way. If someone's going through anything negative, I mean, we're just this big community of people that help each other. Even when a single dad and a few of the single mums that couldn't get work, we all pooled together and paid their rent and their mortgages and everything. I mean, it's an incredible community of people from all over the world. And we get together nearly every week to focus on positivity and what they can do. And if someone's going through something, we mastermind for them. And we literally give money. We literally also give of ourselves and our love. And I teach them meditation practice, and I teach them really simple, because I'm a simple person. I left school when I was 15 because I knew what I wanted to do. There was no point in further education. But since then, I've got more education than most people I've ever met. I've studied everything that there is because I'm insatiable with wanting to learn, have knowledge, not just of the mystical, but of everything in the world. Philosophical books. And, I've just got a huge library of things that I'm always like 3 books at a time. My mind's hungry for all of this positivity, and to go deeper and deeper and deeper in a simple way into who we are, why we're here. And so I would say to somebody, but first of all, you could just listen. Just listen to the stuff on the app or just listen to the free things. Just listen, because you will find yourself transported, particularly with that app, very, very quickly, because of the fact your doubting mind cannot reject it. You don't have a chance to say, oh, this doesn't work. I'm going to try that. You just have to listen. And it doesn't take long for you to go into a higher oscillation, which is the secret of everything. You have to vibrate at a faster frequency, because if you want to attract things in your life, you have to be at that frequency that that thing is at or that person is at. And to do that, you have to fill your mind with positivity and visualization. And it doesn't, you can do it in so many fun ways. Like, at the end of this month, I'm putting on a 2-day event, Mel, and you're invited as a guest if you'd like to come on it, called Manifesting Mastery, which is just at manifestnews.com. And I'm going to put on these events more often because people don't understand the simplicity of how quickly you can, without some effort, of course, but how quickly you can have your mind uplifted so that then you do attract the money, so that then you will have a more positive attitude about, and more patience and more clarity. Because when we've got a foggy mind, it's like you've got this beautiful, clear, divine diamond that is your higher self, that is animating your very being, and it's coated with emotion. It's coated with experiences, and that's why you can't feel your God self properly. You can't feel that heart glow. You can't hear the majesty of what it really, the spheres of the divine sound like, and they are incredible. I mean, if anyone even had one little experience of what this is like to have a flash of light come in your mind, you would be blown away. Meditation practice is the most exquisite, phenomenal, beautiful experience when you're taught how to do it. And when you have a teacher who can transmit light to you, it makes all the difference because every single person on this planet can have their life changed. I see it every day. I see people just, it's like I say to everybody, if you're happy, tell your face, make your dentist proud.
I'm getting a little weirded out right now because I was just going to ask you a question that you just answered, and I got to tell you, I this positive vibe that I get from you is real. It is, and we're not even in person, and
Oh, yes,
that's
we
just
are.
yeah. I mean, this is bizarre. But I was going to ask you, would you agree that every single, and you just said it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would you agree that every single person on this planet have the opportunity and the ability to improve their mindset? Um, and of course, you said everyone was, but I'm a huge sports fan. Like football is American football is just I love football. We're in playoff weekend coming up. It's just the best time of the year. 20 years ago, you would never hear a professional athlete publicly say that they do meditation or that they do yoga. And now, with all the documentaries available now on these athletes, meditation, positive thinking, affirmations have all become a way of life for these highly successful athletes. That that is just the reality of it now. And I think that just goes to validate what you're saying, that everyone is has that opportunity. And I'm
Yeah,
excited to get started.
I was hired in Kuala Lumpur to train the what we call football, but you call soccer, the Malaysian team. And so I really enjoyed teaching them visualization, and it was really interesting because I didn't realize at that stage that football teams are from all over the world. I mean, there were so many different. It's a Malaysian football team, but they're not all Malaysian. Anyway, I don't understand that, but that's another story. But anyway, I guess they just hire different people from different countries and just to get the best team. But I found that fascinating in how these young men were really, really totally into it. They were very, very interested. And, they would talk about Michael Jordan did visualization and affirmations. And yeah, I think athletes are very, very open to the positive and to really just climbing that mountain, just going for it because they have to have that sort of willpower and they've got to use all their faculties to be able to be a winner, to be able to better themselves every day. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to become like a professional athlete of the mind. And to start with, if you can do it by just listening to some little pop songs and that's going to help you, well, gosh, why wouldn't you do it? Even if you don't like my voice or my music, which I think you'd be insane if you don't, because it's great. I'm just very modest about that. I just think, and we've even got a beautiful album for little kiddies 5 and under called Self-Esteem Songs for Kids. And what I've got, Mel, is I've got these little baby animals and I put on all these voiceover, you know, we've got, the baby panda and Cocky the frog from Puerto Rico. We've got all these different animals that are endangered that speak in the beginning about where they're from, what they eat, how they love their mummy and daddy. And then I get them to, then I sing a song and I sing it again in their voice and they sing along with me. And
Oh,
kids love that, self-esteem songs for kids, I can do it.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Gosh, what a wealth of information and resources. MichelleBlood.com. Go check it out. Don't forget, put the / feed your mind. You get all these free resources for you and your loved ones. It's incredible. You talked about the professional athletes, how they have now become, you know, they are a family, right? These teams, and one of my friend's sons, one of my best friend's sons, is actually playing football in the UK,
Ah.
the American football. So going to your
Oh,
point
really?
about, yeah,
American football's gone to the UK?
they recruit him all over the place. So he's a Hawaii kid that
Wow.
is now playing in Europe and all over the world. But when these very disciplined athletes, obviously you don't become a professional athlete by not being disciplined. And once one of their brothers or sisters come out and say, hey, I do affirmations every, I meditate, and then all of a sudden it becomes cool. Uh, if Michael Jordan did it, I can do it. And that, I think, the stigma, I think a lot of people don't fully understand, and it doesn't, it's not like exercise, losing weight, where it's going to take me a long time going to the gym before I start seeing results. And that's why most people quit, because they don't really see the results. Everybody's impatient now, right? We don't believe everything is instant gratification. So you go to the gym 2 weeks and you notice, oh my gosh, all that work and blah blah blah. Like your tools, though, as you describe, you notice the change relatively quickly. If
Yes.
you give it the time and you give it an honest effort, you notice the improvements and the possibilities quite quickly. Isn't that true?
Yeah, and, I mean, if no one even wants to get the free gifts, if you've got an Alexa, the Amazon thing, you
Hmm.
just say, "Alexa, play Michelle Blood," and she'll play them for hours, and you can just listen to them even if you listen to them really quietly in the background while you're cooking or something.
Gosh, you're everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I know.
Everywhere.
Omnipresent little Michelle Blood.
Well, I'm sure our listeners they're probably yelling to Alexa right
Oh
now
my
as we
god, Alexa
yes.
just turned on. My Alexa, "Alexa, turn it down."
You can learn all about Michelle and michelle.com/feed your mind. She has been nice enough to give our listeners some free stuff. So go check it out.
Free stuff's good.
Free is, I always say, if it's free, it's for me. It is. You cannot
That's
go
a good
wrong with free.
affirmation.
That is every morning. If it's free, it's for me. Michelle,
Well,
this has
you're
been,
lovely. You're lovely, Mel. I just love you.
well, I love you too, girl. And one of the nice things about meeting new people is, everybody has a story. Every single human being has a story, and we just appreciate those that share the stories, so that people can benefit and become better people. And you have done that today, Michelle. I appreciate you so much. Please take the last few minutes, share some words of wisdom for our listeners, uh, before we sign off today.
Well, as Spinal Tap said, turn it up to 11 for the movie. Keep yourself positive. There are so many beautiful positive movies you can watch and funny things. If you haven't seen the movie Spinal Tap from the 80s, it's hysterical. It's about a rock band from the UK, and it's like so many things in that are actually true. It just cracks me up. And, just know that you really are not alone. It's impossible for you to maybe understand that right now, but you are one. This divine diamond is the same divine diamond that Mel's got, that I've got, that your neighbor has got. You don't have to like everybody, but you have to appreciate and respect that their divine is illuminated. You can love the divine in every single person. My cats are running around crazy here. They get all excited when I start singing. Uh, yeah, okay. So, just know that everything is possible for you. You are not alone. It's like that old saying, you've got to do it on your own, but you can't do it alone. Ask for help. If it's not me that's going to do it, listen to some of Mel's past podcasts. Fill yourself with positivity. He has put so much effort and love into getting guests that will uplift you. So all you have to do is listen. If that's all you have to do, just keep listening and keep loving and thanking and being grateful for your life. If you can wake up every morning and go, thank you for my beautiful life. And then what does a beautiful life look like to you? Write it down as if it's already happened. Thank you for my beautiful life. Thank you for my beautiful home, my family. Always add some things you've already got and things you don't have as if you've already got them. And know that you could just be exquisitely happy. Really, really just that peace within is a real thing. It's not some pseudo nonsense. So love yourself, love your higher self, be thankful, and thankful to Mel for doing such a beautiful podcast.
Well, thank you so much. If you are not at the peak of your satisfaction in life, if you are not enjoying every part of your life, uh, then you have the ability to do something about it. MicheleBlood.com is a great place to start. In just a short time we've had today, I have learned a lot. I call them nuggets. There were just too many nuggets. I'm gonna have to watch this again, listen to it again, just so I can take notes because there were a lot of nuggets that I think will benefit a lot of our listeners. So, Michele, thank you so much. I can only wish you the best in the future. You're a good person, and you have done a lot of good things. So appreciate you. You stay safe up there in Australia. And to our listeners, don't forget to check out micheleblood.com/feed your mind. We'll get you the free tools. And appreciate you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Mel. Thank you very much.
And until next time, folks, we love you. Appreciate you. God bless. Stay safe. Aloha.